The villagers who rushed over upon hearing the sound were all scared and covering their ears. The big snake in the river also trembled fiercely. A clear demonic aura rose from its body, yet not very strong. Chansei thought to himself, fortunately, it hasn't fully developed yet. And the man who was originally obsessed with beauty also sobered up. He let out a scream. Monster! The giant snake was startled once again. Instinctively, it whipped its tail, accidentally tossing the man onto the shore. The man scrambled to his feet and ran away. The snake unwillingly followed onto the shore. Chansei stood in front of it, asking, "Dare you come up here?" He reached out a hand, and a tree branch flew into Chansei's hand not far away. He wielded the tree branch in the manner of holding a sword, swirling it around. The drifting dragon sword technique swept past. The snake tail swept across Chansei's body with a sound of wind. But it was just an illusion. Chansei moved behind the serpent, guided by the lights of the people's homes, wielding the fire of the people. See if you can block this sword? Flames suddenly ignited on the branches. The sword's speed is extremely fast. The sword intent is like a dragon. This move is called Drifting Dragon Carries Fire. An infinite blaze swept through the back half of the dragon in an instant. The dragon writhed in pain and dove into the river. As the saying goes, above the character lust hangs a razor-sharp blade, while the sword glides, like a drifting dragon, driving serpents away. The serpent monster's eyes watched as it jumped into the river, and even fire couldn't extinguish it. It directly opened its huge blood basin mouth, and took a bite on the still burning tail. The onlooker villagers were scared silly. This big snake is too vicious. The trick of cutting off the tail to survive also caught Chansei off guard. Watching the departing serpent monster, Chansei shouted with full spiritual energy, "Tueyuan County City God, please watch over day and night. Where are you? A monster has appeared here. Please show up quickly to capture it." Chansei clutched his chest. To calm down the excessive consumption of spiritual energy, this was all he could do. He watched as the snake's body in the river continued to burn. The villagers were discussing heatedly. It's the monster beautiful serpent. Fortunately, there was a skilled person passing by. After a moment, 2 night watchmen bowed and saluted. Chansei explained the situation to them. The night watchmen thanked again. One reported to the city god, and one went to chase after that monster. After hearing from the city god, wave a big hand to catch the monster. They pursued another one. Nightwatch city god, who was fighting with the serpent monster, sighed. It was indeed seriously injured. With a command, the affiliated official and his men rushed forward. The heavily injured serpent monster was helpless to fight back. City god pierced a sword right on top of it. Soul Reaper ordered to hook out the soul of serpent monster. Successfully captured this evil monster. On the other side, the villagers keep thanking Chansei non-stop. He then took his leave and departed. It would be troublesome to attract the authorities. He climbed over a small dirt mound and arrived at a grove of trees. Under the shade of the trees, city god of Suiyuan County and his entourage have been waiting for him for quite some time. Wow! Waiting for me here? Chansei introduces himself. Indicates that the situation was urgent earlier. Can only resort to this tactic. City god expresses gratitude and thanks the gentleman for taking action. The serpent monster has been captured. Sir, please take a look. Lord Marshal Judge brought the soul of the serpent monster in front. Chansei indicated that it was indeed the one. City god thanks again. Feel free to ask if you need any help in the future. Chansei heard a lot. Will there still be politeness? Sir, I need help right now. Do you have any Taoist texts of immortality or spiritual methods? Can I take a look at them? Any spiritual methods will do. He doesn't care about face anymore. Decide first and then talk about it. City God asks, why do you want these, sir? Chansei indicates for reference and practice. City God pondered for a moment. Retrieve the tale of the outsiders and the tome of clarity from the sleeves since you need them, sir. I will give them to you. Chansei took them with a happy face. You carry them with you? Could even see the name of the book clearly. This is no ordinary book. Turn over and take a look. The pages are all blank? Is it a book of unknown symbols? As the spiritual power is infused, the words become clearer. Chansei smiles with joy. Many thanks to Lord City God for the gift of the book. City God says as long as you like it, that's all that matters. With a swooshing sound, the team left. Wasn't it just harmonious a moment ago? Why did they leave so quickly? Upon closer inspection, the annotation in the book reads, the enlightened ones can understand it at a glance, while the ordinary ones are not destined to see it. Did the city god think I was pretending to be an ordinary person to play a trick on him? Misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. Can't stay in this place. Better leave quickly. Thinking of using light skills to swiftly depart. Sure enough, not far away, the city god is hiding on the side, watching Chansei swiftly go far. He wonders in his heart, who exactly is this mysterious figure? As the saying goes, Master Sei, the great sage, aids in banishing demons, forsaking his own honor to seek the secrets of immortality. Heavy rain poured from the sky. Chansei took refuge in a cave to rest and seek shelter from the rain. The passerby just said that this place is the Crouching Dragon Wall, but where is the resemblance to a crouching dragon? There are not many dates left. Let's save some to eat. At that moment, Chansei's ears twitched. He heard a sound of footsteps. Will there be someone coming in this weather? I saw an old man in white clothes. He walked slowly with white beard and hair. Chansei thought to himself, I can see this person clearly, and I can't hear the sound of rain falling on him. He is not an ordinary person. The old man bowed to Chansei. Sir, you have a good temperament. Chansei returned the gesture, just taking a brief rest here. It's more refreshing to take a leisurely stroll in the rain. The sound of water droplets and footsteps is authentic. This person is definitely not ordinary. Just not sure if they are an immortal or a monster. The old man saw the tale of the outsiders placed aside. Continue to speak. This is a miscellaneous book from many years ago. Do you mind if I sit next to you? Chansei said. Please. The old man sat down and asked, Sir, are you reading this book, The Tale of the Outsiders? Do you have any insights on it? Chansei thought for a moment and replied, This book is indeed wonderful. But the evaluation of spirit and monster is not fair. The principle of not doing to others what you don't want done to you is something that ordinary people understand. The elder's eyes lit up. Oh? Can you explain in detail, sir? Chansei also let go. Although some spirits and monsters may engage in harmful actions, they cannot be completely denied. For example, the prince in the book saved the cat spirit. The cat spirit turned into a human and married the prince as his wife to repay him. Later, a wealthy merchant lusted after the cat spirit's beauty. He caused the prince's family to be destroyed and people to die. The cat spirit took revenge for the prince by killing the wealthy merchant's family. Although the whole article briefly mentions human wickedness, it mainly emphasizes that the cat spirit harms people. I am very displeased with this. There is another article that describes severe drought hundreds of years ago. The people were suffering greatly. However, the writer claims that this was destiny, as the people prayed for the water serpent to bring rain. The water serpent brought rain to help with the disaster after receiving offerings. This is clearly a benevolent act benefiting the people. The writer, however, claims that the water serpent is disrupting destiny and not enlightening. There are many such biases in the book. It's truly laughable. The old man remained silent for a long time. He pointed to the stone wall above his head and asked, "Sir, do you know the origin of the Crouching Dragon Wall?" Chansei replied that he did not know. The old man began to tell a story about around 300 years ago. There was a water serpent cultivator here who had reached a state of perfection in cultivation. He was preparing to undergo transformation into a dragon, but because his cultivation had lasted too long and he was too eager to transform into a dragon, it caused more than half a month of continuous heavy rain that year. As a result, the Sheng mansion experienced flooding. Wherever it goes, there is devastation, Chansei thought. Even in modern times, floods are still a terrifying presence. The old man continued saying, "The current stone wall is where the water serpent emerged from the earth back then. That is why the name Crouching Dragon Wall has been passed down." Chansei asked, "I heard that the celestial abode Jade Holding Mountain in Ji Prefecture did not intervene at that time, did it?" The old man smiled and said, "The water serpent caused trouble. Naturally, it attracted immortal experts to intervene. But only the city god of Dumang Mansion spelled out and shattered his golden body to awaken the flood dragon. Let him see the sin he has created with his own eyes." Chansei understood. The old man should be the flood dragon. The story is about himself. "May I ask, old sir, did the water serpent successfully transform into a dragon in the end? What happened later?" The old man calmly said, "Of course he succeeded. For the next 300 years, he controlled the weather for Ji Prefecture, bringing good harvests and regulating the water race to prevent mischief. What do you think of this dragon's actions, sir? Do you think he was uncivilized? Hope this answer is satisfactory. As the saying goes, the flood dragon stirs the wind and creates waves. The right and wrong, merits and faults, seek to be judged." Chansei is extremely anxious at the moment. However, outwardly, he appears very calm. He thinks he is seeking approval, but it must not be flattery. So he spoke. "I greatly admire this dragon's later actions. But if I encounter the dragon I met back then, and if he still has the same abilities, I will have to slay him." The elder furrowed his brows and narrowed his eyes, with a hint of white vapor appearing at the corners of his mouth. "Does the gentleman think that the dragon's accomplishments over the past 300 years can offset the mistakes made back then?" Chansei unequivocally affirmed. "He is indeed that dragon." He then posed a question in return. "May I ask, old sir, if everyone believes that the past sins have been atoned for, would you still continue to sow clouds and rain? Success is success, and mistakes are mistakes. Only by making up for mistakes can we move forward. There is no balancing of merits and demerits. What I hate is the evil dragon of the past. What I admire is the true dragon of today. They don't conflict." As soon as these words were spoken, the old man, who had been frowning, felt a slight tremor in his heart. He burst into laughter. "Well said, well said." Chansei breathed a sigh of relief. Finally made it through. The old man turned his head at the sound. Chansei hastily picked up the jujube fruit next to him. "Old man, please try this. It was grown in our own yard. Very fresh and sweet." The old man took it. "Jujube fruits in this season? Quite rare. But 2 pieces are not enough." Chansei quickly stuffed the remaining jujube fruits into his mouth. "There are only 4 in total. Half for each person." The elder does not mind at all. Taking a bite, he repeatedly praises the good fruit. Although the spiritual energy is scarce, the taste is excellent. "Where is the gentleman's courtyard? Can I go and pick some more?" Chansei said. "It's fine if you want to, but I have asked my friend to distribute the dates. I'm not sure if there are any left." The elder asked, "Does your friend have any stored? Sharing some with me is also fine." Chansei said, "He is just an ordinary person. He cannot store things." The old man looked shocked. Just an ordinary person? What virtues and abilities does he have to be Mr. Goodfriend's friend? Chan Se winked playfully. I acknowledge this, friend. Isn't that enough? The old man laughed heartily at the words. Wonderful! Wonderful! It is only natural for the gentleman's word to be final. I'm not sure if this old and feeble person of the monster race qualifies to be Mr. S. friend. It depends on whether Mr. will invite me for drinks next time. Whatever drink Mr. Chan wants, just say it. Chan Se believes in judging people, not alcohol. Immortal liquor will do. Even the earthly Huadio wine can make one drunk. The old man chuckled, extended his hand to bow, and said, I am Inghong Jiang from Tomtian Mansion, returning your greeting. I am Chan Se, from Ning'an County. The old man said he needed to go and make it rain. Until next time. I must treat you to a drink next time we meet. After saying this, the old man transformed into a blurry dragon-shaped stream of light. With a loud roar, he broke through the clouds and disappeared in an instant. Chan Se thought to himself, at this rate, I might get a heart attack before I become immortal. As the saying goes, Master Se, the great schemer, reveals his power once again. Even the true dragon kneels in reverence, a chuckle escaping its lips. Following the scent on the street, Chan Se entered a restaurant. For several days in a row, Chan Se had been busy running around outside. At this moment, Chan Se was disheveled, with dirty clothes and a face full of grime. There was also a strong smell of sourness emanating from him. The boss saw a beggar coming in and quickly asked the tavern attendant to find Chan Se a corner to sit in. The boss instructed to kindly talk to him and also send a dish of snacks. Chan Se didn't get angry either. He also ordered some dishes, including braised pork elbow, stewed hen, steamed rice cake, mixed 3 delicacies, braised cabbage, pickled radish, and stir-fried turnip. This left the tavern attendant stunned. Is this beggar watching too much Chinese crosstalk? He's come to me to practice some rapid-fire dialogue. We can only offer you a plate of stir-fried radish. You? Chan Se chuckled. He pulled out a silver coin as if performing a magic trick. Rest assured, I have money to pay the bill. Just inform the kitchen to start cooking. During the wait for the dishes, Chan Se has also been paying attention to some interesting things. For example, at a table across from him, there is a person wearing a Taoist robe carrying a whisk. Next to him is a child who looks about 14 or 15 years old, also dressed as a Taoist disciple. This is the first time Chan Se has seen a Taoist in this world. It piques his curiosity. The two seem to have encountered a bit of a small difficulty. The Taoist disciple, with a worried expression, asked the Taoist beside him, Master, we've almost spent all of our travel funds. This meal is just steamed buns and cabbage. When can we return to Cloud Mountain Temple? There's no rush for the travel funds. After the meal, I'll go set up a fortune-telling booth. We'll be able to make some money for food, replied the Taoist. When the Taoist disciple heard that he was going to set up a fortune-telling booth, his expression became even more worried. You're setting up a fortune-telling booth again, he said. Maybe we shouldn't. Last time in Qinglu County, not only did they overturn our booth, but they also beat us up. You still haven't learned your lesson. The Taoist seemed embarrassed to mention the matter, and quickly interrupted his disciple. This time I've learned my lesson, he said. I'll only speak kind words, and keep the bad ones to myself. Making money is the top priority. Although he said that, the young Taoist was still a little worried. You say this every time, he said. Chan Se chuckled beside me. She found it amusing. No matter how you looked at it, the two of them were like a pair of clowns. Or more accurately, it could be described as one big joker and one apprentice who was constantly fretting. Not long after, the dishes were ready. The tavern attendant hummed the names of the dishes as he placed them one by one in front of Chan Se. When the last dish was served, Chan Se called out to the tavern attendant and gestured towards the pair of master and disciple. Little brother, could you please inform those 2 Taoist priests over there? Let them know that I invite them to dine with me. The Taoist apprentice glanced at Chan Se, who was dressed in tatters, and muttered quietly, "Can he afford to pay for the meal himself?" Glancing at his master, who had already gotten up and was walking towards the other side, he thought to himself, "Whether he can afford it or not, take the steamed bun and cabbage. Let's not take advantage of him." After the Taoist priest took a seat, he politely introduced himself. "I am Qishuan, also known as Green Pine Taoist. This is my disciple Wen Qi. May I ask how to address this gentleman? And why have you invited my disciple and me to dinner?" "I am Chan Se. It's just very rare to see Taoist priests, so I wanted to invite you over for a meal together. It's also a good opportunity to take a closer look and learn something new." The master and disciple exchanged a glance, clearly not believing it. But in the face of the temptation of delicious food, they couldn't care about that much. They ate voraciously, like a gust of wind sweeping away the remaining clouds. After having their fill of food and drink, the Taoist priest seemed somewhat embarrassed. "This gentleman treating us to a meal also shows his kindness. How about I tell your fortune for you?" Chan Se became interested right away. He took out a pen and paper to write down his birth date and time. The Taoist priest was taken aback when he saw the birth information, as if he had witnessed something incredible. "You are tricking me, aren't you? Is this your birth information?" "As good as guaranteed." Chan Se's answer was very natural. "I don't know my birth information in this lifetime. But my birth information from the past lifetime is still mine, right?" The Taoist seemed to feel insulted. He suddenly shouted during the bidding case, "You're lying! If this is your birth information, you would have died long ago." Before he could finish his words, he felt a sourness in his throat. He spat out a mouthful of blood, spraying half the table. Fell to the ground like a doll. Fortunately, timely medical treatment saved his life. Not long after, Green Pine Taoist woke up. He asked for water as soon as he opened his mouth. Disciple Wen Qi was so happy that he cried. Chan Se hurried to bring a bowl of water. Feed the Taoist priest to drink. Then he bowed apologetically. "I'm sorry for letting you down like this," Green Pine Taoist said. "I now understand what it means to make wild guesses about fate." Chan Se thought to himself, "It seems like my life has been spared. Just a joke. I guess Master Taoist won't be inclined to read my facial features and palmistry anymore." Green Pine Taoist raised his left hand to reveal a wound. He said, "No. I took a look at Mr. Chan Se's facial features as soon as I woke up." At these words, Chan Se was stunned on the spot. It's true, some things never change. The Taoist coughed twice. "It's impossible to read the gentleman's expression at all. I'm sure it's the same with palmistry as well." "Mister, are you not an ordinary person?" Chan Se remained silent for a while. The Taoist should focus on recuperating peacefully. In the future, the habit of speaking recklessly should be corrected. Green Pine Taoist also nodded tactfully. Noted. Pay attention in the future. Say good things, don't say bad things. Don't say things that shouldn't be said. Chan Se and the doctor chatted later. He said that he had eye problems. He thought he could rely on immortal cultivation to recover. The doctor's medical skills are so good, let him give it a try. The old doctor looked shocked. "You have eye problems? When I was acupuncture points just now, it was so precise." The old man reached out his finger and waved it in front of Chan Se's eyes. After a moment of contemplation, "I have been practicing medicine for so many years. Based on my judgment, your eyes are completely blind. Can you really see blurry shadows?" Chan Se thought. "So it seems. Then is my blurry vision not from the eyes?" The old man, however, piqued interest. "Take out a silver needle and try a few pricks." Chan Se agreed. The old man then grasped the silver needle and inserted it carefully into the Mingmu acupoint with full concentration. Just a buzzing sound was heard. The silver needle flashed and disappeared. Rubbing against the old man's hand, it disappeared into the beam above. Chon-se asked in a hurry. Are you okay? The old man shook his head. This needle can't even pierce through. Could it be because of your protective vital energy? I'm afraid not. Just now, Chon-se didn't offer any resistance at all. The spiritual energy has also been withdrawn. But right at the moment when the needle was about to pierce through, a black chess piece suddenly appeared. When he reacted to it, the needle had already flown and injured him. Chon-se looked up and said, Let's not try it. The old man looked regretful. It can only be so. What a pity. The next day, Chon-se changed into a new outfit. Give the two Taoists some scattered silver coins. Tell the junior Taoist Wen-chi to keep a close eye on your master. The junior Taoist understood immediately. He gave a knowing look, and then Chon-se bid farewell and left. I thought this divination was indeed magical. But it's too dangerous. I won't learn it. On the 8th day of May, at Old Birch Mountain, Chon-se held up a fishing rod by the river, fishing. He casually picked up the Tome of Clarity and started to read. Currently, Chon-se only has the Qi direction method and lacks the Qi refining method for immortal cultivation. The road ahead is still long. After waiting for half a day, there was still no fish biting the hook. It is clearly stated in the tale of the outsiders that there is water essence in this pool. Wait until sunset in the west. Chon-se heard footsteps. Is someone coming at this time? As the saying goes, with hope in one's heart to cure the ailment. Though the road ahead is long, it must not be forsaken. Chon-se heard footsteps. Two in clean robes. A child of about 13 or 14 years old ran over. They saw Chon-se sitting by the pond. The boy suggested playing a trick on him. So the two quietly approached Chon-se from behind. Suddenly, they both shouted loudly. To their surprise, Chon-se had no reaction at all. The two children looked disappointed. Is he deaf? Chon-se's voice suddenly came. Is it fun? The two children were suddenly scared and trembled. Then, they started to get angry. You actually tricked us? Chon-se smiled faintly. Is it really that rare? I think I can see clearly through these two children. But there is no demonic aura on them. Interesting. What have they encountered this time? Mountain deity or immortal cultivator? So he pretended to turn around and continue reading. The two children refused to cooperate. You better leave. After all, you can't catch any fish anyway. Chon-se countered with a question. Aren't you afraid of the beast? The boy replied, Our martial arts skills are very high. We are not afraid. Chon-se also chuckled and said, My martial arts skills are also very high. At that moment, the fishing rod suddenly shook violently. Chon-se gave it a hard shake. He fished up a silver semi-transparent small fish. Two children exclaimed, Silver pipa! The boy instinctively flicked something out. A round, blue jade pendant. Shouting, Silver pipa is ours! The jade pendant magically enlarged and covered the fishing rod. The Chon-se bamboo rod flicked and gently shook it off. Then, his left hand stretched out, and a water line flew out from the pool, condensed into a water ball the size of a soccer ball. The silver fish happened to fall accurately into the water ball formed at that moment. No matter how it swims, it cannot escape. The boy, with an angry face, says, Who are you? How dare you steal my fish? I see the blue jade pendant. Chon-se just knew their identities. Is this by Shuetan exclusively owned by your jade-holding mountain? The boy said angrily. You know we are from Jade-holding Mountain. Why won't you give us the fish? Chon-se laughed. I've been fishing for half a day and only caught one. Even if you are from the prestigious celestial abode, you can't just snatch it, right? You? This by Shuetan belongs to our Jade-holding Mountain. So Silver Pipa also belongs to us. Chan Sei is also angry. There are no restrictions here. It's 700 to 800 miles away from your sect. How can it be yours? Is there no elder accompanying you? Allowing 2 children to act recklessly? Before I knew it, someone actually responded right after I finished speaking. You're too kind. Indeed, this is where our jade-holding mountain is at fault. A person wearing a man in a blue flowing cloud robe drifted over. Chan Sei thought, where did he come from? I didn't notice him before. The man also looked surprised. Who on earth is this person? No aura is visible, no sacred radiance on the top, but he blends in seamlessly with his surroundings. The water controlling technique he just displayed was extraordinary. And he can also see through my hiding place. This person is definitely not simple. The conscience of heaven and earth. Chan Sei was just a probing shout. I didn't expect to really trick out a living person. The saying goes, beside the jade pool, a mischievous child plays. With no intent to test, yet fate weaves it into truth. Chan Sei said that I just shouted randomly. I didn't expect that there would be elders following. The newcomer is insightful. He can see through the me hidden in the Dao's treasure. See the tome of clarity next to Chan Sei. Is this the celestial tome? This person is definitely not ordinary. Please speak up, you are joking, sir. It's just 2 junior disciples playing around. After speaking, the man in blue waved his hand once. The 2 boys were pulled next to him by an invisible force. Explanation: only 1 silver pipa is made each year. So the boys were anxious. He thought to himself, this person's level of cultivation is immeasurable. I cannot conflict with him. So he said, may I ask for your esteemed name, sir? What brings you here? Chan Sei introduced himself, saying, I am just here by chance as well. Chiao Feng greeted with a fist salute. Since the gentleman has already caught the silver pipa, we won't disturb you. After saying that, he grabbed the 2 kids and left. Chan Sei thought to himself, they are really vigilant. Is this how the first encounter with an immortal cultivator ends? On the way back, the 2 kids were grumbling and dissatisfied. The boy even started to curse out loud. Chiao Feng immediately stopped him. Unexpectedly, a voice behind him burst out laughing. That makes sense. It's not right to snatch things from children. Chiao Feng looked alert. Oh no! It's been heard. Chan Sei laughed and said, Mr. Chiao, no need to be nervous. I'm not going to stoop to a child's level. Looking at the smiling Chan Sei, Chiao Feng asked, Mr. Chan, is there anything else? Mr. Chan pointed to the silver pipa behind him and said, if you are so eager for this, why don't we trade for something? Chiao Feng was finally relieved. He bowed and asked, what does sir desire? As long as I can bring it out, there's no problem. Chan Sei thought to himself, although this fish is good. But what is currently lacking the most is the cultivation of spiritual methods. Please speak about cultivation methods and insights. Extraordinary books and unique aspirations, or the most fundamental ones. Chi refining method will do. The girl blurted out happily, I have the basic chi refining method. Just use this one for now. Chiao Feng quickly stopped her. She thought about exchanging it with the chi refining method. How is it different from giving it to Bai? I don't even have a tome like the Tome of Clarity. It seems that he is very interested in mysterious things. So she said, I have an ancient chapter here. I'm sure you will be interested, sir. This is a fragment of the God-capturing scripture. It provides some help in understanding magical principles and concentrating the mind and spirit. I wonder if the gentleman is satisfied. Chan Sei gently caught it with 2 fingers. He was thinking about God capturing. It's the unique technique mentioned in the book. Although very happy, Chan Sei still prefers the basic chi refining method. A silver pipa may not be worth so much. Thanks for Mr. Chio's kindness. G certain is grateful. After speaking, he gave a shrug and the water ball flew steadily towards Chiu Feng. The latter quickly cast a spell to stop the water ball, but the splashes of the water ball rippled. This move made it clear. Even the two children could see who was superior. Wow, amazing! Slipped out involuntarily. Chiu Feng sighed softly in his heart. Mr. Chan, then let's part ways here. In the future, you will have the opportunity to visit Jade Holding Mountain as a guest. Chansei clasps his hands in salute. Sure. I will definitely visit when I have the chance. Both sides are relatively satisfied. Let's part ways here. The girl suddenly shouted and stopped Chansei, then ran over. She was holding a jade token in her hands. This is the basic chi refining method that you just mentioned you wanted. Chansei looked at Chiu Feng, who was bowing with a surprised expression on her face. He laughed heartily and patted the girl's head. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Your name is E, right? If you encounter any difficulties in the future, I will certainly do my best to help you. As the saying goes, when all paths seem lost, a new village blooms beyond the darkened willows. Chiu Feng took two boys and flew through the sky. The boy had a strange look on his face and said, Master, you shouldn't be this happy just for changing fish, right? Chiu Feng said, In this world, there is a kind of person with extraordinary Tao. Once you meet them, it's fate and dharma, which you don't understand now. In the future, you will envy it. Chansei watched as Chiu Feng left and suddenly remembered the head of the Wei family, forgetting to ask about him. Looking at the two jade tokens in his hand, Chansei sat cross-legged by the river, starting to study the content on top. Chansei entered a spiritual energy into the jade tokens, and immediately a divine thought emerged. Content took shape in his consciousness. So the chi refining method is actually connecting and refining the hidden 5 elements energy in the abdomen. Chansei silently recited the mantra. Enter into a state of visualization. Let the thought arise. Heart fire emerges atop the towering peak. A mass of celestial fire appears. Then, think again, kidney water emerges at the same position in the cosmos. Above the earth, rivers converge. Waves surge. As you approach the most crucial of the 2 steps, let the breath blend yin and yang. Celestial fire and emerging rivers unite. Form a unique vortex. The most crucial step. Yin-yang fusion furnace. The center of yin and yang taiji. A massive Dan furnace emerges. Chansei took a deep breath. The Dan furnace has formed. It's not as terrifying as described, right? Some people even fail 1,000 times, right? It seems like my aptitude is not bad. Huh? The spiritual energy has been sucked into the Dan furnace. So, is this Dan Chi the spiritual power? Suddenly, several chess pieces flew over through the air. Before Chansei could react, start absorbing Dan Chi. Chansei quickly stopped him. Layer by layer, Dan Chi has not yet formed spiritual power, and has already been divided into 70%. Chansei exits the world of visualization. Looking at the chess pieces on fingertips. Forget it. Anyway, they are all mine. Pay attention next time. A few days later, Chansei takes a small boat to Chunoe Mansion. It is said to take 3 days to reach there. It's evening. A big ship appeared in the distance. Chansei sat in the cabin, eating the fresh fish and exclaimed how delicious it tasted. Suddenly there was a splash. Someone across shouted, "Oh no! Someone drunk fell into the water." The fishermen on the small boat looked across and saw someone fall into the water. They saw a few skilled swimmers jump off the big boat. Rescue. Chansei thought it might be difficult to rescue. The visibility is too low. Even if I use my minor water evasion spell, it won't work. Huh? Chansei suddenly focused. He stared fixedly at the river in the distance. He saw a drunken man floating on the river, as if being pulled towards the big boat by something. The onlookers hurried to lift him onto the ship. It seems like there's nothing serious. It's just that no one noticed. A huge dark shadow flashed beneath the surface of the water. People on the small boat heard that someone had been rescued. They all sat down to eat. Chauncey turned to look at the river. He said to the fisherman, "I'm full," then turned and walked out. But he was dragging a bundle of wine in his hand. Speaking of the fisherman's homemade rice wine, here is half a pot. Please enjoy. He flicked his finger, and the wine splashed out. A large blue fish quickly leaped out of the river below, opening its mouth to catch the splash of wine. As the saying goes, falling into the water by chance, who extends a hand? The blue fish, craving a sip, pleads for the wine of the waves. Suddenly, a fisherman rushes into the small boat, saying there seems to be a water lord. The man in red calms everyone down. He picks up a wine cup and walks to the bow of the boat, reciting, "You don't offend me, I don't offend you." He offers a toast with a cup of watered-down wine as a gesture of respect. After speaking, he splashes the wine from the cup into the river. Chauncey thought to herself, this is not a water lord but a large blue fish that has opened its spiritual intelligence and is especially fond of wine. It just saved the young man who fell into the water, probably because it wanted to drink wine. If all spirits and monsters were this lovable, it would be great. The next morning, Chauncey looked at the jade token in her hand. This god-capturing method not only helps me concentrate my mind, but it can actually capture gods. But if I use it now, capture the river god of Springwood River, I'm afraid he may be smacked to death in a fit of anger. Only minor deities, like the land god, would be able to apprehend him. When you arrive at the pier of Chunwei Mansion, Chauncey disembarked and walked. I'm just waiting for the 15th of May. I wonder if Wu Weiwei is ready. On the night of May 15th, by the river at Chunwei Mansion, the head of the Wei family arrived with his family. He waved his big hand. He poured 2 jars of wine into the river, while Chauncey had been waiting on the big tree nearby for a long time. With the pouring of the wine, changes appeared on the surface of the river. Waves splashed up. Chauncey thought, "Here it comes," only to see a ripple approaching. With a splash, a giant turtle stuck out half of its body. Under the moonlight, the old turtle looks like a small boat. Has the young man surnamed Zheng not come? It seems that his destined calamity has not passed yet. But it doesn't affect me. Perhaps it's even a good thing for me. Water rises on the river and flies towards several carts on the bank, sweeping away everything on them. Speak. What do you want to ask for? Just delivering something? Hee. Let's talk about your request. Head of the Wei family forced himself to stay calm, and bowed to introduce himself. He mentioned the ancestral blue jade, and its connection to the jade-holding mountain. He wanted to ask the immortal elder how to enter the immortal sect. The giant turtle looked curious. You actually know the origin of the jade pendant? Come closer, and let me have a look at you. Head of the Wei family nervously approached the old turtle. Huh? Why can't I see your fate clearly? It's impossible. You are clearly just a mere mortal. Since you know, have you ever met any masters on Jade-Holding Mountain? Head of the Wei family was taken aback. He wondered whether Mr. Chan allowed him to disclose his information or not. The old turtle seemed to have seen through this point. In an urgent tone, "You must have seen it, right? You must have seen it?" Wu Weiwei, can you introduce me to a master? Just one sentence is enough? Did you hear that? The impatient appearance of the old turtle frightened everyone a lot. The attendants even drew their weapons. The head of the Wei family hastily stopped them, saying, "Immortal elder, don't be impatient. I have indeed encountered a master before." The old turtle seemed to realize his own rudeness and said, "I was also just a little anxious. Please continue." At present, we can only continue speaking. This immortal elder. I am unable to reveal the identity of the senior figure. Shall I speak first, and you can decide how to proceed after listening? The giant turtle has agreed. So the head of the Wei family began to narrate the course of events and various miraculous deeds of Chansei, such as the little fox paying respects and seeking help. The giant tortoise asked, "Did the gentleman save them?" Of course he saved them. Later, it was heard that the fox was homesick. The gentleman then released him back into the mountains and fields. The giant tortoise was furious upon hearing this, something he could not achieve despite all his pleading. And that fox just walked away by himself? Absolutely ungrateful. Head of the Wei family continued to speak afterward. Chansei helped him uncover the secret of the jade pendant, as well as the juju tree in his courtyard, the incident of the tree being full of fruits overnight. The giant tortoise, upon hearing this, sighed and exclaimed, "Truly a masterful person with profound knowledge. I truly wish to meet him." Chansei, sweating profusely while listening from the tree nearby, thinks, "You've really misunderstood. As the saying goes, striving tirelessly for the immortal path, yet blind to the true face of the mountain ahead." Head of the Wei family said, finally, indicating that the gentleman set off on a long journey. He really doesn't know when he will be back. The giant turtle also understands that such masters come and go unpredictably. He doesn't want to complicate things for him. He said to head of the Wei family that there are only two ways to enter Yuhui Mountain. The first is for the family to have a child with very high cultivation talent. There is also another way to gain an advantage. If Wei family has a direct child under the age of 5, you can also send them over. The immortal crane guarding the mountain is replaced once every 20 years. Starting next year, it will be replaced by the one with whom your Wei family is acquainted. The old turtle leaned close to the head of the Wei family's ear and whispered, "Bring the jade pendant with you. The immortal crane will surely appear. When the time comes, ask it to accept our child as a disciple. And please request to accompany the child for a few years as an elder. The immortal crane will surely do its best to help in return. And this jade-holding mountain is right there." After saying that, the giant tortoise turned around and left. "It's up to your fate from now on." The head of the Wei family quickly expressed his gratitude. The Wei family will prepare gifts here again next year. But thinking about the old turtle's attitude towards Chansei, the head of the Wei family realizes that compared to Jade-Holding Mountain, he may have missed a better opportunity. Unfortunately, there is no regret medicine. He turned to his family and said, "Things have worked out. Tonight, I will treat you to a good meal and drinks." Chansei watched the Wei family members walk away and thought to herself, "The old turtle wants to see me. It's probably related to cultivation. Unfortunately, as a half-hearted practitioner, I can't be of much help at the moment." You seek fate, and he seeks fate too. Am I not doing the same? The next day, Chansei arrived at the river god temple. Arrived at Chunhui Manor. This Chunmu River first shrine must visit. He bought 3 incense sticks. Came to the statue of river god, thinking about the river god of Springwood River mentioned in the tale of the Outsiders. The ancient white water serpent has failed to transform into a dragon twice. Nevertheless, he is still a very rare river deity. He is able to truly govern the Chunmu River. Chansei just lit some incense. A mysterious yellow chi suddenly rose up. Chansei looked puzzled. What's going on? On the other side, the old turtle arrived at the center of Chunmu River. He ran over to the river god to present gifts. It was their first time meeting after so many years. The old turtle is currently facing a bottleneck in his cultivation. He wishes to seek guidance from the river god to find a clear path. The river god asks, "You have helped many mortals over the years, even employing your divination skills. Has anyone ever repaid you?" The old tortoise remained silent for a long time. "It seems that no one has repaid me," the river god said. "I can help the old tortoise set up a statue in the temple. Do you want to take this path?" The old turtle fell silent once again. The river god also remained silent. One gulp dried up a whole jar of wine. Not bad at all. At this moment, a mysterious yellow aura appeared in the sky. The aura entered the water serpent's head. A wave of dizziness swept over him. The water serpent began to sway from side to side. The old turtle thought to himself, "Is this alcohol so strong?" Water serpent is recovering. Tell the old turtle that you wait here. I will be right back. Water serpent turned into a phantom and swam upward. He went straight to River God Temple. He transformed into the appearance of an old man and looked at the 3 extinguished incense sticks in the incense burner. Lost in thought. At this moment, Chansei also looked childishly at the temple. Has the river god arrived? Slipped away, slipped away. Thinking, he quickened his pace to leave. As the saying goes, an unthinking gesture awakens the river god, and the winds of fate blow uncertain, flee swiftly before the storm. Chansei turned around and saw the river god making such a big fuss. Clearly it came for me. Could it be because of that strange Xian Wang Qi? Fortunately, I decisively immediately pinched the incense out. It's better to bow respectfully when entering the temple in the future. Lighting incense should not be done casually. Slip away, slip away. River God stood outside the temple with a confused look on his face. Just now, a master had shared the power of merit with him. Such things only exist in legends. I never expected that there are actually people who can do it. But why are the jaw sticks lit and then taken away? Did I do something wrong? So the river god returned to the water palace with a disappointed look on his face. He hugged a pile of wine and began to drink heavily. He said to the old turtle, "Do you dare to use all your skills to calculate a fortune for me?" The old turtle, upon hearing this, looked terrified. River God said, "This fortune is very dangerous for you. If you can survive after saying it, I will definitely do my best to help you in the future. You have already said so. What can an old dragon do? I can only reluctantly agree." River God threw the incense ashes he had just brought back to the old tortoise. With the giant tortoise's spell, the entire pitch-black turtle shell. The patterns of the bagua light up slightly one by one. As the old turtle casts the divination, the more it calculates, the more surprised it becomes. Suddenly, it opens its eyes wide. River God asked nervously, "How is it? What did you calculate?" The old turtle looked innocent. River God continued, "My lord, I swear by my lifelong cultivation level. Just now, that divination you cast." The divination result is a blank. Water Serpent remained silent for a long time. Sighed, "Forget it. I will pass on the spiritual methods I have comprehended to you if you still can't make a breakthrough within 10 years. Then consider the path of the incense fire and golden body." The giant tortoise was full of surprise on its face. It repeatedly thanked you. The initiator Chansei was currently pushing ahead at full speed. His destination this time. It's the address left by Sword Fairy's lunatic. E Prefecture. He is now using spiritual energy to perform light exercise techniques. He is already faster than a car. He doesn't feel tired at all. Moreover, he has obtained the spiritual methods of cultivate and feels extremely happy. The next goal is to learn how to fly. The fact proves that Chansei's confidence is quite intriguing. He got lost again. The direction is definitely right. According to the map given by the city god, there should be a river around here. Is this too much of a pit? Could it be that the map given by the city god is too old? Has the terrain changed? Chansei is confused. Suddenly found a trap not far away. This means there are people nearby. That makes it easier. In the evening, a wispy white smoke rose in the distance. For big men were grilling meat by the bonfire, each carrying weapons. They appeared to be hunters. One of them, named Qiufang, complained that they had been out for several days without any success in hunting large game. He also mentioned that he lost a string of beads. What bad luck. Another man named Xing Ding comforted him, saying, Just go back to the temple and buy another one. Isn't that all you need to do? Fan said, That was bought by my mother at the temple. It's different from a purchased one. Just then, a figure appeared near them. Xing Ding asked everyone to be quiet. Someone is coming over there. Several hunters either casually drew their bows or picked up their spears. Chan Se hurriedly shouted for everyone to stay calm. I got lost and saw a firelight over here. I see a firelight here. Just come here to ask for directions.